Good morning and welcome to the Violin Bootcamp, Tension Part 2. Now, if you saw my first video and were not convinced by this picture of this deranged cat, we'll have to go a little bit deeper into the workings and origins of this stress or tension. Imagine a big building, a government building, which has lots of different services, management, and so on. And it has certain functions, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it has a very strong and efficient security system. It has a perimeter, and it has millions of different sensors, and they all are different types of sensors. They have video cameras, they have heat sensors, they have motion detectors, they have infrared sensors, and so on. And they all work for one only purpose: to detect danger and to alert the security HQ. Exactly like what we have in our bodies. We have lots of different sensors. We can see, we can smell, we can feel. Our inner ear can tell us about, our position in the space. We have rational parts of the brain which can access the situation. And there is a security center which is responsible for our safety. Basically, this is our stem. And stem is constantly receiving information from all those sensors. Imagine that in this compound, in this building, one of the employees decided to go out for a smoke and accidentally triggers one of the sensors. It doesn't matter. The alarm is being sent and the whole system automatically goes into the red zone. In our bodies, what happens? Immediately, there's a series of commands which turn our bodies into the fighting machine. Adrenals start pumping adrenaline to the system, our hearts start pumping blood to get more oxygen to our muscles, to the brain. Our sight is getting modified, we get some kind of tunnel vision. Our hearing is getting modified, our reaction time is getting much shorter, our reflexes are getting much stronger, so we can respond to the danger. Now, the problem is that in the animal world, when animal is tense, there is a legitimate reason for that. There is a threat to its life or existence. In our lives, even though essentially we are animals and our bodies were designed and built a long time ago, before we had a free will and free choice and our beautiful imagination and our emotions, most of our problems, they exist in our imagination and they are not life-threatening. But the system still responds in a very old way as it has been programmed to respond. And so if you have tension in your hand, for example, which is not life-threatening, it still triggers the whole system to start responding at the life-threatening situation. And when it happens, the whole system goes into overdrive. Imagine that you put your foot down in a car and your engine goes into the red zone. The power output is massive, but it cannot sustain for a very long time, because eventually all the components will just go out of sync and the car will explode. There will be damage. In the animal world, the danger will pass pretty soon. Or you react or you get eaten by somebody big and hairy. In our world, we are constantly under this stress, which is not life-threatening, might be quite moderate, but it is constant, which means that our bodies are in this fight and flight state practically all the time. And all our organs and our nervous systems and our heart and brain is under a constant attack, and it is getting out of balance. And we use chemicals to get more energy. We use caffeine, we use pills to somehow to sustain this power output, but it cannot go on forever, and the damage to our bodies is constant. And also there is one more thing, that when one group of sensors sends alarm, but other group of sensors doesn't confirm that there is danger. That's what happens in our bodies. Your nerve endings in your muscles say, well, there is tension, there is a reason, to get worried, but your eyes don't confirm that there is threat. So your stem is getting confused. It's one of the reasons why we're getting seasick. When you sit in the airplane, your eyes tell you that you're sitting in the enclosed space and you're motionless. But your inner ear tells you that you are actually 10 miles up and traveling the speed of 500 miles an hour. So there's a conflicting information. And what happens when your stem receives conflicting sorts of information? It presumes that you are poisoned, because this is only one scenario: or you are injured, or you are sick, or you are dying. What else can disbalance all your sensors? There's only one scenario: you have ingested something toxic. And what is the first reaction? To get rid of this toxic substance, which means to get physically sick. And this is what sometimes happens. When you're under severe stress, when you're frightened, when you're tense, when you're raging, you feel sick. So this is just one of the reactions. And again, it doesn't do us any good. So anyway, without going much deeper in all those details, now you understand what monumental damage we are causing to ourselves by stressing out, and even such a small thing as contracted and stressed muscle adds to this situation massively. But not everything is doom and gloom. There are millions of ways to relax ourselves and to physically or mentally get relaxed, and this is what we're going to talk about in our next video. I'll give you a few hints about our posture, about our hands positions, and how to avoid those common mistakes, and how to alleviate this physical tension, which is connected to our mental tension and psychological tension. So, as I said, not everything is doom and gloom. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you shortly.